Hello and welcome back to Mafty UK. At last I'm fishing. I am at Clearwater near Lancaster or Carnforth, just a little bit further up the M6 than Wearside, next to a minor road. I've got the M6 behind me. These again are the gravel pits, just like the Wearside was gravel pits and so on, most of them are. First time here, never been here before. Had a good chat with the bailiff when I first got here. I'm only doing 24 hours. In fact, I've done 24 hours. This is the end of the session. But I'm not going to tell you how I got on. I'm not going to show you any tactics just yet. I just want you to see the place. I'm going to show you a few pictures of the new building, the paths and everything that they've got set up. And when I've done that, we'll go into the video and then we'll end it there. Okay, so welcome. It's good to be back. Moving was a bleeding nightmare. I was off comms for quite a while. People were dropping me messages and I couldn't get back to you. If you've left a message and I haven't answered, you know that's not like me, so I will catch up and get back into the swing of things as soon as possible. In the meantime, as the Carp King 71 would say, let's go fishing. And I'm not stealing that line ever again. I like it though. Clearwater Fishery. That's their cafe, bistro even. Very smart and tidy. Food hygiene rating 5, as you can see. Very nice inside. Doing some work done at the moment. They're working on those lakes right now. They're not actually fishable for some reason. Not quite sure why. And there we go. Clean, tidy place. No dramas whatsoever. And yeah. Just go over to the kit. You can't bring your own nets or carp care equipment. You have to use theirs so you don't get the transference of diseases, and they're all lined up there. If you want your breakfast meals delivered, comes on that, and there we are. Clearwater Fishery, very good. Just had a good chat with Andy the bailiff. I've never been here before. He's given me a good brief. I've got a pit in front of me. I think he said it was about 8 foot, maybe 12 foot down. I'll have a little bit of a mess around in a bit. I got 2 lads over there it will be to my left if I turn around. They're here for the day. When the sun goes down, just leaves me on this little pond. It's Kellet Lake. It's a 6-acre lake. I've got 24 hours. The cloud's coming in as I speak, so it's nice and clear over there, but it's overcast coming in, so not the best signs. It's just on 0 at this moment in time. I don't care. Any time on the bank is good time. Let's see how we get on. I'm going to keep my beady eye on the water. I've got a little bit of movement all around me, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to set up my bivvy first, as opposed to setting up my rods. I'm going to get myself comfortable and at the same time have a good look at what's going around. I was advised, although you can't use plastic baits, you can use zigs. I was advised at around about 11 to pop a zig on. So I'm going to keep my eye on the water. If they do come up, I will be popping a zig on. So let's just have an eye on the water before I go jumping in with my rods. If it takes an hour, it takes an hour. I just want to see what's going on, as you should do. So let's have a look at the gear. No surprises there really. My Shimano reels, Shimano rod, my Playful dog pod. I love that pod. I will never ever buy another pod as long as I keep that one in good working order. Never buy another one. Love it. Those alarms as well, the ATT alarms are awesome. Oh. So yeah, no surprises there, nothing I haven't seen before. Is it me, or am I the only person who seems to be having problem with those Ultegras XTD 14,000s and having the line completely tangling up? The line guards don't work. I've had two that's broken, so I've had to replace two line guards and they don't work. Is it me, or does that seems to be a common fault? Because I'm really not happy with them at all. If I could afford it, I would buy some new reels and I would put them for sale. I was a bit of a Shimano fan until then. Okay, that's not my regular chair. That's my trade-in chair. Chris, did you seriously think I wasn't going to bring it? And in here, what have we got going on in here? Nothing exciting, very bland and very plain. One thing I will notice, see the ground sheet, it's not a regular ground sheet, it's just a tarp type ground sheet. And the reason I use that is because we're on that. If I put a heavy duty ground sheet on that and put my bed onto it, it'll cut straight through it. So I'm not going to do it. So I'd rather waste a few quid on one of them, which I've had that now a year. So I don't really mind using that on gravel. And there we are, that's it. That's the place. For this then, a very simple setup. It's quite weedy in here, so I've got a drop-off lead and a very tiny Copex squid pop-up on the end. I'm going to try, and I'm not going to put anything on. I actually want the bait to be about 6 inches off the bottom of the bed of the lake. I'm just going to give that a try, like a mini zig, for want of a better word, and that's the way I'm going to try it. Where are we? So I'm looking for that, and I'll put that in a PVA bag with some of the pellets. Now, I spoke to Andy when I first got here, and I noticed there were large bags of pellets lying around, and I said, "Is this what the stockfish are fed on?" And he went, "Yeah, it is." I said, "Oh, right." I said, "I'll have some of them." It makes sense to use the bait that the fish are used to eating, and if they've been brought up on this pellet and they've been fed on this pellet, there's no reason why they won't eat mine. And if I can lure them into the area by that regular smell and that regular food, they may take my pop-up as well. Now, if I don't get any joy with a bright pop-up, what I will do is I will mimic the pellet that I'm using. So maybe later on this afternoon, if I don't get any joy, I will mimic the pellet. I've got some small pop-ups which are that colour, and I'll give that a go, and I'll put that on the bottom base as well. So I'll give it a go. So all you can do is try. Anyway, let's get a PVA bag and let's get this first one out. I'm burning daylight here. Well, that's the first one out. I just put a little bit of sweet corn in around that one as well, just to get the colour in there. Clear water, so as an attractant throughout the daylight. A bit of sweet corn with a yellow pop-up. Let's see how that goes. Hopefully that'll work. However, I have had a fail. I went to catapult some bait out in and around it, so I ended up with sweet corn all over me in the swim. But oh dear. Time for some running repairs and get the next one out. I'm definitely going to put a zig out, definitely. Yeah, I really want to zig a zig, yeah. Well, that's a good sign. You've got two deep ponds. You've got a pond over there, and you've got this pond here. They're joined, but they're very shallow in between. So the water needs to be relatively warm for the fish to be up, to get over from one to the other, to pass through, because they're only a couple of feet deep. So you could fish here for quite some time, and all the fish could be over there. That's 2 liners I've had now, and it's not the bait settling, that's a liner. You can tell the difference. And that's good. That means there's fish in this pond and in this bit, so I'm quite happy with that. Good for morale, at least you know they're there, because it's a chance you take. You don't know, you can't see any signs, or can I? At the moment I can't see any signs of any fish, but apart from what's happening to my lines, and that's second liner, so yeah, I'm happy with that. Let's hope they like black zig foam and yellow pop-ups. What shall I do for my third one? Should I go meaty flavour DNA baits, that sort of thing? Or shall I stick to the yellow pop-up? Or shall I go on the bottom, mimic the pellets? You know, I don't know. Might even do an 18-inch zig yet. That's over there's got to run. Okay, what did I decide in the end? I'm not going to go bottoms. I'm going to go 2-foot pop-up, 18-inch pop-up on a zig, mini zig, with a drop lead system again. So it is weedy. Should I have a problem, it'll drop the lead and away we go. Clip systems or drop lead systems are preferred here, it says in the rules, but as long as you have a safe rig, I think that's what they're really bothered about. But yeah, this is an 18-inch pop-up on a zig. I'm going to try that next to my 6-foot, and that's how I'm going to fish. I've got to give it a go. It's just what I want to do. I have literally got one on the bottom, which is in the margins under the tree. If I don't get any joy from that, I will actually put that to a bottom bait. I don't know. I'll have two. I'll have an 18-inch and a 6-foot zig, and then I'll have so I've got low water, upper water, and then I'm going to have one on the bottom. I don't know if that's the right thing to do. That's what I'm going to do. See if we get up. Bloody seagulls. Despite this being a carping 24 hours, we've moved into what I would call the winter fishing season now, and I use trangier. One of my preferred methods of lighting a trangier when I'm out in the bush doing my bushcrafty stuff is using this system here. Now, you see a lot of people when they try and use these for the first time, they don't actually use it correctly. What they do is they hold on to the steel ferrous rod and then they get the striker and they do that, which does produce sparks, but there's absolutely no control over it. And if you was trying to point your sparks over a particular piece of tinder or onto your trangia stove, you don't actually get the accuracy. So the best way to do it is to place your thumbs on the ferrous rod, place your striker on top, and then put your thumb on top of your other thumb, and then look, just by twisting your wrist, you've got all the control, all the sparks you need, and that's how to do it. I am looking in the viewfinder there to see what sort of picture I'm getting, but all the control and much more sparks, much better sparks than if you was just to go like that. Okay, and that's how to use a ferrous rod. So now let's light my trangia using this. And there we go, that's lit. Much more controlled as opposed to just doing that. So place your striker on the rod. Oh, come on, left hand rod, drop back. Oh, swan on my line. And then there you go, that's how to use that system there. And now back to carping. Bleeding swans wiped me out over there. I thought I was in deeper water actually, but it must be a lot more shallow than I thought. Anyway, I'm going to have to move it out a couple of feet into deeper water. Never mind, that's just the way it is. Now, it does take longer with a trangia. It does. You know, gas, couple of minutes, that 5 minutes, 6 minutes, but you know, how much of a rush are you in? You can just see the steam coming off there. How much of a rush are you in? Carp fishing can't be that much of a rush, can you? It's a great way to cook. Anyway, I'm going to put my coffee in there, but I got something a little extra to go into it too. Of course I do, it's me, it's Math Tea UK. Most importantly though, time to put the trangia out. We don't want to waste fuel, and we use our snuff ring. What we don't use is the lid of the trangia, and if you can remember why from last year, because inside the lid of the trangia there's a rubber grommet O-ring. If you use that to stub out your trangia, what happens is you damage the ring and you can't keep fuel locked away inside your burner. You have to empty it out because it will leak out. So enough chitter chatter, let's drop this on top of the trangia and stub it out. We're going to drop in a bit of cinnamon whiskey in this one, and I've got to give a shout out now. I am of course conscious that we don't want to be spending time looking at my ugly boat race. We need to be looking at the water and trying to catch fish, but when you're not catching fish, you have to make yourself a brew. And you've seen what I just put in mine, and that is something we've been doing for quite some time now. But I'd like to cheers to the Woods Walker 1965, who made some apple sauce cinnamon pudding in one of his videos recently, and it looked absolutely gorgeous. And I tried, Wade, I tried to go and get the packet mix apple sauce, but to no avail, unfortunately. Yeah. Wade, here's to you, mate. Yeah, you've got your beautiful snow, I've got a little bit of cold, that's all. I think it's about 0 degrees. It's not, maybe just one, maybe one at most. It's not that cold compared to where you are. However, I am going to make a massive shout out to a real good friend of mine, and all through my videos I've always mentioned Charlotte and Dan, and we was there when they got engaged, and we were informed rightly that she was with child, and now she is with young Harley. Young Harley's a fine, handsome young baby, and Dan and Charlotte are absolutely over the moon. He looks $1 million. Definitely Charlotte, definitely Dan and your dad combined there. But a huge congratulations to you. Fine, healthy baby boy called Harley. Welcome, young man. I hope he subscribes. He should subscribe. Get him subscribed. And I have also picked up a lot of new subscribers recently. Heading now to 2,000. I'm on my last 100 countdown. I've always said it's not about the numbers. I've always said that, and it's about, this is more of a video library of doing what I do, and if you want to interact with me, I will interact, as you know. But to get, I'm just, I think my last count was 80 off of 2,000, and I think that's a hell of a milestone for me. Never expected that. I don't just do fishing, so I don't just focus on one subject. If you do, you get a lot more subscribers, but because I don't do that, because I do lots of different stuff, I don't get so many subscribers, because I'm chopping and changing them all over the place, and I don't think people like that. I think they like to focus on one particular subject. I think my biggest amount of subscribers is definitely fishing, so I do like to get fishing in, not just for the subscribers, but for me. I love fishing. I've always done it. Don't like fishing when I got swans stealing my bait though, like that one. I don't know if you can see that in the picture. I'm not sure if he's behind me. I think he is. Yeah, I think you can see him. Cheeky little git. Well, I think that where he is now, I think it's too deep. Well, if I get some diving ducks here, I'm screwed. This is only a small place. There's 3 pegs for this little pond that I'm in now. 3 pegs, and that is just about right. 9 rods is a lot of lines in this small area, but it makes sense. I like this peg. This is peg 10. It's called Kellet peg 10. I do like it. I think, I mean, I'll show you later, but all across the back that's the bigger lake. They're aiming to get this into one of the biggest day tickets, or one of the best day tickets in the northwest, and I really would love that to happen, because it's only 11 minutes away from my home. So I'd really like that. That would be really handy. The way it's set up, there's 3 pegs. You can't book the pegs, you can book the lake. So if there's if it's summer, if it's middle of winter and all the pegs are full, and you know you're on that peg over there, shallow water, you're not going to go. You wouldn't do it. You would not do it. You rocked up here and you found out you was on that, you'd just say, no, it's unfishable that this time of year, sorry, I'm not doing it. And then perhaps they'd let you on another one somewhere, I don't know. But you can't fish. There's definitely one peg over there which isn't fishable in the winter. I think you can get to deep water on most of them. What do I know? I've only been here a couple hours at most. Awesome wade. So what have I got coming up in the near future? Well, I do have Boxing Day at Farlow's down on the M25. So the traffic you may hear in the background now will be nothing compared to what it's like down there. But that's with the Carp King 71 going down there. I have to make a public apology for missing Lee's birthday bash. I have apologised a couple of times, but I hated doing that. I never did promise that I would 100% be able to get there, but for the reason I couldn't promise in the first place was fine, but then work got involved. So what I think I might do is, while I've got the time and I've got the light, I might sit here casually and make 3 Ronnie rigs and pop those on. because obviously as the sun starts to go down, I'll be fishing through the night, so hopefully I'll pick up on a running rig. They tell me that they're into their bright luminous pop-ups, so I may just try a glow in the dark rig on a pop-up as well. I might just give that a go, see how that works. Let's see if I can find them. Let's have a look. So yes, as I can't keep still, because I'm unable to keep still, I think when I finish this brew, had a Scooby snack, I'm going to make 3 running rigs for when the sun goes down. And when these lads disappear behind me, I'm going to get out a little bit into the pond, a little bit more water to play with, because when I'm pretty much packing up at first light in the morning. Not quite sure how that works. You get 24 hours to say you can start at 9, you have to be off for 9. I don't know how they're going to police that. Don't know how strict they are. Whether they say, look, nobody else is on me, you're alright for an hour or 2 while you pack up. Let's see. We'll see anyhow, won't I? I'm hoping he comes around. I'd like to have a chat with him on camera, if he will. Should do. He's trying to sell his place, isn't he? He's trying to advertise this place. They want it to be the best, so they're gonna need to be the best. Okay, so what's the state of play? I have changed. I pulled in my right hand rod, which was my Zig. I pulled that in and I've gone to a Ronnie rig, an 18-inch Ronnie rig with a very soft fall on it, so the weight goes down and then the 18-inch will fall. So if I've got a lot of weed down there, which we have, then hopefully that will fall on top of the weed as opposed to burying itself deep into it. I don't know. The middle rod again is on a very short 18-inch pop-up. That's not a big 18-inch pop-up. It's a 12mm pop-up on an 18-inch Zig. This is the worst hat ever. Worst hat ever. Not even comfortable. It drives me bloody insane. Okie dokie. Right. Is it wrong? Is it wrong to do this? Keep your wine warm in your pocket. What, in your jacket? Stop it from getting too cold. Is that wrong? It's sort of fading in and out, but that is my view. That's my snag ear isotopes and my solar isotopes. That's what I see when I'm lying down in my pit. So I can, as soon as I open my eyes, I can instantly see if there's been any change, any issues or any movement whatsoever. So there you go, that's what I can see. Okay, it is not traditional, but quite often I tell a story, and sometimes I keep them in when I'm editing and sometimes I don't. So who knows, I may keep this one in. If I do keep this one in, I think this one's got to be for Darren, who is looking forward to a new story. So let's hope this one is interesting enough, or at least funny enough. Let's go back now to 2000 and it must be 11 or 12. And this is a family holiday. We decided to go fishing for some trout, and there was a lovely little river that ran past the campsite, and I could see the trout in there, but we didn't have any bait. So I said to my son, let's go
and find some worms, and we'll find some bait, and we will catch some trout. Now usually if you go to a field which has had cattle in it and you find some crusty old cow pats and you flip them upside down, worms, red worms, bloodworms even, and brilliant, excellent bait. Wasn't any. Alright, okay. So we looked further and further afield and we couldn't find any. We was on the borderline of a wood. I said to my son, if we go into the wood, find a felled tree, one that's decomposing, we will be able to pull grubs, worms and all sorts out of that bark or whatever's left of the tree. And not long, approximately 75 meters into the wood line, we found our huge tree stump, and we then proceeded to get grubs, bugs and alike from the tree. Now the way we did this is the funny thing, because instead of just peeling back the bark with a knife or whatever, we decided to get these two sticks and hit and hit the tree with these two large sticks, a bit cavemanish, to the point where we looked at each other and we started saying Macalaki, which I think is from some film. So as you can imagine, Alex and I were hitting this tree stump with these sticks, shouting Macalaki. So it was Macalaki, Macalaki. Right, so my lad's only young, but it was quite funny. What we were doing was funny. It was quite funny. And then as I was giving it full Macalaki, as you would say, making a complete clown of myself, I looked up and I seen this geezer walking his dog about 30 meters away where there was the path. And I stopped and I sort of went, I was going mac. Oh. Hello. And he was just staring at me. He was staring as if he would say, what the hell's going on over there? Of course my son was still going mac. So I gave him a little bit of a nudge and he looked at me and seen I was stood up straight, and he stood up straight, looked at me, looked at the guy and went, oh, hello. And this guy just looked at us both and went, hi, and just turned and carried on walking his dogs. I have no idea to this day what this guy must have thought us two lunatics were doing, but as from his point of view, he was walking along with his dogs. He probably could hear this Macalaki noise coming, and as he got into the wood line, a few meters in, he seen these two people smashing a log with two sticks. Whatever he thought, I don't know. I genuinely don't know, but yeah, that's a true story. That is a true story. And again, my son, if you was to say to my son Alex Macalaki, he would go into that story straight away, because that was extremely funny. So there you go, there's a quick story for you, not the Macalaki story. That's genuinely true, and yeah, I did feel stupid. So it's 10 o'clock on a winter's evening. I'm on my own. I'm just going to have a quick 5 minutes only in this sleeping bag. Yeah, I'll see you in the morning. Bugger. A blank. I didn't stand a lot of chance anyhow. However, I did have an awful lot of liners last night. About 1 hour my alarms would bip and let me know that something is definitely snurgling by. I love the weather today. It's a cracking day. I wish I could fish today, and if it wasn't for the fact of all the work that I've got to do, I would be. But anyway,
It's Friday morning. I've had my 24-hour session. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. It's time to go and maybe try some breakfast over in the kitchen over there, over in the cabin over there. I don't know. By the time 11 minutes, I can be home in 11 minutes from here, so it may be just as easy to go home. But thank you for joining me. I do appreciate it. Yeah, it was a blank, but that's not the end of the world, is it? The fact that as I got out, I'm on the bank again and I'm doing what I love doing, and that is more important sometimes. So there we go. See you next time. Bye bye.